Hello students, welcome to the 11th standard mathematics class. So I am Amina, I will be handling you maths. So in 11th standard you have 2 volumes for maths. Okay, don't panic about the maths, it will be very easy when we understand it carefully. Okay, the things that you are going to learn in the 12th standard will be the advanced part of the things that you are going to learn in the 11th standard. So this is the basic for the things that you are going to learn in the 12th standard. So you have to learn this also carefully. Okay, it will be very easy when you understand it. Okay, now let us see the chapter 1, that is sets, relations and functions. We are going to see about 3 things, that is sets, relations and functions. Okay, see these 3 things are the major parts in the mathematical concept. Okay, in maths these things, that is sets, relations and functions, this contribute to a very major part in maths. Okay, many authors what they did is they thought of finding the notation of function like Galileo, Descartes, Leibniz and many authors. Okay, what they thought of, they thought of finding notation of function, but the clear notation of function was first given by the author called Dirichlet in the year that is in the 20th century. What is the notation of function? What he gave is, he gave a clear notation of function. He is the first who gave the clear notation of function, that is y is equal to f of x. You have learned this in the lower classes, right? How do we define a function? We define a function as y is equal to f of x, where x and y are variables. Okay, these authors also thought of finding notation of the function, but Dirichlet was the first author who gave the clear notation of the function, that is y is equal to f of x. Okay, then the main thing, set theory. The set theory, who discovered set theory is Cantor, the author called Cantor. He only initiated to develop the set theory. Okay, so in this chapter what you are going to learn is, we are going to learn about sets, relations and functions and their properties, and we are going to see some of the examples, sums here. Okay, so sets, let us see what is sets. Set function or set theory. Okay, we have learnt in the smaller classes, that is the common definition of set. We have learnt already, right? What is the common definition of set that has been stated to us is, a set is a collection of well-defined objects. Set is a collection of well-defined objects. This is the definition of set that has been taught to us from the earlier classes. That is, a set is a collection of well-defined object. The important thing is the object should be well-defined. See here, in your book they have given 2 examples. That is, the collection of beautiful flowers in Ooty Rose Garden. And the second example they have given is the collection of old men in Tamil Nadu. They have given 2 sentences. Okay, we have to see whether these 2 are sentences. That is sets, that is this collection of beautiful flowers in Ooty Rose Garden. Can we say this as a set? What is the definition of set? Set is a collection of well-defined object. See here they have given the collection of beautiful flowers. Is this a well-defined function? Is this a well-defined object? We cannot say so. We cannot say this so because beautiful means it may vary from one person to one person. See, if I like red roses, means someone will like white roses or white flowers. So the beauty it varies from person to person. Therefore, we cannot say these beautiful flowers as a well-defined object. Instead, we can write as a like this: collection of red roses in Ooty Rose Garden. Red means red. This is color. Okay. So we can. There is no well-defined thing, or it is not a. We can't say like this is a well-defined thing for everyone. Red roses. It is a red roses. We can count the number of red roses in the Ooty Rose Garden. See, it is the red color does not vary from a person to person. If this is a green color, then everyone say this is a green color. If I say this is a green color, then everyone say it is a green color, right? This is a true fact. Therefore, beauty, why we are saying this is not well-defined function means it differs from one person to one person. So, it is not well-defined. See here, collection of red roses in Ooty Rose Garden, we can count it. We can count it, and this red roses, it is well-defined. Therefore, we can say this as said, and we cannot say this as a said. Okay, see the second thing. Second sentence, the collection of old men in Tamil Nadu. The collection of old men in Tamil Nadu. We can say this as a set. Can we say this as a set? No, because see, for some person, old person means it may from 50 and above. For some persons will say old persons mean it may be from 60 and above. Like that. That is old. The meaning of the old for age, it differs from one person to one person. Okay, for me I will say the old man means a person who is aged above 60. Someone will say old man means a person who is aged above 50. Therefore, this also varies from one person to the thought of one person to another person. So, this cannot be said as a set because this is not a well-defined object. Instead, we can say collection of men whose age is above 50 in Tamil Nadu. We can say this. Okay. This thing that cannot be differed from one person to one person. ஒருத்தவங்களுக்கு 50 ஏஜ் தானா நான் அவங்க ஏஜ் 50 னா if I say it is a 50 everyone will say it is a 50. If someone say it is a 50 everyone will agree with that. Okay, this cannot be changed, this cannot differ from one person to one person. Therefore we can say this as a set and we cannot say this as a set because this may differ from it is the thought of one person, the thought of one person from another person differs. Therefore, this is not a well-defined object and this is a well-defined object, collection of well-defined object. Therefore, we can say this as a set. Okay. Next, we are going to see some of the notions that we are going to use in this sets. That is some of the symbols like this. This we may use in only set theory. See here, this means belongs to. This means belongs to. These two are called as subsets. This is union and this is intersection. Okay, this is union and this is intersection. This is subset and this belongs to. See here, let us take a set A is equal to A, B, C. And another one set C, D, E. Okay, this belongs to means we can say the element A belongs to the set capital A. Is that so? Right? The element A is in the set A. Therefore, we can write this as A belongs to A, capital A, or B belongs to capital A. We can say it as C belongs to B, like this. Okay, this means that this element is in the set B. Okay, the meaning is that. Next one is subset. Okay, subset. See here, let us take another one set. Okay, let us take another one set. Let f is equal to b comma c. Okay, b comma c. We can say that f is a subset of a. Is that so? See here, what are the elements of f, b and c? We have to see whether the elements b and c belongs to the elements of a, right? B also belongs to a and c also belongs to a. Therefore, this whole set belongs to this set. Therefore, we can say a belongs to c. See here, the element c also belongs in from b. The element c from b also belongs to the element set a. Can we say that b is a subset of a? No, we cannot say that it is not a subset of a, because there are another two elements d and e. These d and e does not belong to a. See here, all the elements from f belongs to a. Therefore, we can say f is a subset of a. Okay. Now, union. What is union? Okay. In your book, they have given the definition of union. Before that, we let us see some of the definitions. See here. What is empty set? Empty set. We just saw the definition of set. What is empty set? Empty set is denoted by, this is called as empty set, or it can be denoted by like this, two curly braces. Okay, this means there will be no element in the set. That is called as empty set. This is also called as void set. Empty set is also called as void set. It is also called as null set. Okay, it is also called as null set. Then we saw the subset, right? See what we saw, f is equal to b comma c. Then what is it? F is a subset of a. We saw like that, right? F is a subset of a. See here, f is a subset of a. In this same notation, we can say it in another form, that is a is the superset of f. Okay, a is the superset of f. Superset. Here superset is a and subset is f. Okay, in this rotation we can say f is a subset of a, and reverse order what we can say, a is the superset of f. Okay, we can say like that. See here, if the two sets are equal, let us take another one set. In that also we have these two elements, b comma c. That is, we can say E is a subset of f and f is a subset of E. Therefore, we can say E is equal to f. These are equal sets. That means the number of elements and the elements will be same in the two sets. Then we can say E is a subset of A. You can say in the another order also F is a subset of E. That is, E is equal to F. That is, these two sets are equal. These two sets are equal. Okay. See here, for any for a set A, 1, 2, 3. Let us consider this. Okay. How can we write the subsets? Subsets is 1, okay, 2, 3, and again 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And also it includes the empty sets. These are the subsets of the set A. Okay, these are the subsets of the set A. That is, when you take this element alone, this is a subset of, we can say this is a subset of A, because A belongs to, see, 1 belongs to A. We can say this 2 alone is a subset of this set because 2 belongs to A. Likewise, see here A comma 2 belongs to A 1 comma 2 belongs to A, that is 1 comma 2 is there in A. Therefore, we can say these are the, from this A we wrote the subsets of A. Okay. See here, for if we take element, this element is called as empty set. This set is called as empty set. And what is this set? This set is A itself. So if we take any set, then the empty set and the set itself will be the subset of the set. Can you understand? Empty set and the set itself will be the subset of the set that we took. If we take B, then surely the empty set and the set B will be the subset of the set B. Therefore, we can say these two sets as trivial sets. Trivial sets. Okay, we can take any set. We can take any set, then what we get? We get this empty set and the set itself as a subset of the taken set. Therefore, these two sets will be called as trivial sets. Okay. Now, proper subset. Let us see the union and intersection later. So, before that, what is proper subset? We just saw subset. Okay, we just saw subset and superset. What is proper subset or what is improper subset? What is proper subset and what is improper subset? Proper subset means, see here we saw two sets, right? B, C. For the before definition, we saw two sets. Okay, what we can say? We can say E is a subset of F and F is a subset of A. Okay, see here we can say E is a subset of F. Okay, this is said to be proper subset when E is not equal to F. See here, this is E is equal to F. Therefore, we cannot say such a proper subset. This is improper subset. Because here E is equal to F. Therefore, what we say, these two sets are the improper set. Is E is the subset of F, this is the improper subset. Suppose if we have another one element. Okay, if we have another one element and again we can say E is a subset of F, right? B comma C belongs to F. E is a subset of C, but E is not equal to F. Therefore, this is called as proper subset. If E is equal to F, then it is improper subset, and if E is not equal to F, that is it must have at least one element. F must have at least one element that is greater than E. Then we can say that this is a proper subset. Okay. Now, let us move on to the union and intersection. They have in your book, they have given this common notation of union and intersection definition. See here, what is union? Let us take two sets A and B. The A and the union is A union B. That is A union B is equal to X. The elements in the A union B will be of X such that X must belongs to A or X must belongs to B. The X must be in either A or B. See here, let us consider two sets 1, 2 and B as 1, 3. A union B will be equal to X. It must be in A or it must be in B. See here, when we write union 1, 2, here also there is 1. We have already written 1 and 3. This is the union of A and B. A union B is equal to 1, 2, 3. Similarly, intersection. What is the symbol of intersection? Like this, A intersection B. Okay. A intersection B can be defined as element X if X belongs to A and X must belong to B. See the differences? It may be in either A or B when it is of union. When we take intersection, it must be in both A and both B. See here, A intersection B. It must be in both A and B. The element 1 is in A and the element 1 is in B. See, 2 is in A but we don't have 2 in B, and 3 is in B and we don't have 3 in A. Therefore, the common element is 1. Therefore, A intersection B is equal to 1. Union means we have to take all the elements in both A and B. Intersection means we only have to take that is common in both the sets. Okay, this is the definition of intersection and union. Intersection and union. Okay, see here, disjoint set. Disjoint set. What is disjoint set? Let us take two sets A and B, 1, 2, and this way 3, 4. Do we have any intersection here? Do we have any common elements in both A and B? Here 1 and 2, here 3 and 4. We don't have any common element. Therefore, this is empty set. When we don't have any common element, then we can say A and B are disjoint sets. We can say this as A and B are disjoint sets. That is, when the intersection of these two sets is equal to 0, then we can say 0 means there is nothing, there is no intersection means then we can say these two elements are disjoint sets. Okay. See, in algebra you have learnt this type of symbol. That is what does it mean? This is summation and this is product. Okay, this is summation and this is product, right? So how can we write this? X1 plus x2, instead of I we have to substitute 1 to 10, then we have to plus, since this is summation we have to plus x3 plus up to etc. x10, right? This is product xi, this is product, that is x1 into x2 etc. up to x5. Okay, we have learned this in algebra. Similarly, we have these type of symbols in set theory, that is, this will be big union and big intersection, that is union of, see a union of AI when I is equal to 1 to n means, union means we have to take union for all the sets A from 1 to n, A3 union etc. up to A n. Similarly for intersection, if it is from I is equal to 1 to k, Bi means what we take? B1 intersection from 1 to k, B2 intersection up to Bk. Okay, this is a important notation you will be using in your sums. Okay, next, the next set is power set. What is power set? Okay, power set. What is power set means? Let A be a set. Okay, then power set of A is the power set of A is the set of all subsets of A. We wrote the subsets of 1, 2, 3 of set 1, 2, 3, right? That is, if A is equal to 1, 2, 3, what are the subset? It may have a null set, then 1, then 2, 3. The set is written in the curly braces. Okay, don't forget. Then 1, 2, 2, 3, then 1, 3 and 1, 2, 3. Right? These are the subsets of A. This is the set of subsets of A is called as the power set. P of A is equal to this set. When we take this as a set, this set is called as the power set. Okay, this set is called as the power set. See, how can we find the number of power set? See here, the number of sets here, elements in this power set is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is, number of power sets of A is equal to 8. Right? This can be written as 2 power n, where n is the number of elements in A. See here, the number of elements in A is 3. Okay, the number of elements in A is 3. That is 2 power n. That is 2 power 3. 2 into 2, 4. 4 into 2, 8. The number of elements in the power set of A will be 8. Right? We got the 8 elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 8 elements. See, if you want to find the number of power set in the number of power set, what we have to know? We have to know the number of elements in A. If we have the number of elements in A, we can use the formula 2 power n. That is 2 power. For this A, number of elements is 3. 2 power 3 is equal to 8. Therefore, 8 is the number of elements in the power set of A. Don't get confused, okay? Number of elements in the power set of A. Okay, now we saw the power set. Next, we are going to see universal set. Actually, this is the main thing. We saw subset, superset, okay? Many sets we saw. But what is universal set? Universal set. See, already what we took? We took 2 elements. So, 2 sets. 1, 2 and 3. And another one set is 3, 4, 5. We took 2 sets, right? So, whenever we take a set, the set should have a universal set. That is, it contains all the sets of this type. See here, we took the numbers. So, the universal set will be universal set U is equal to 1, 2, 3, etc. up to infinity. What is this? This is set of all natural numbers. This is set of all natural numbers. So, for any, if we take a set, okay, set of all prime numbers, set of all prime numbers, then what can we take? What can we take as the universal set? Set of all prime numbers, it includes from, we know, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, etc. Right? It may include minus also. Therefore, if we take a set of all prime numbers, then we have to set a universal set. So, what may be the universal set? Universal set may be set of all real numbers. Right? Set of all prime numbers belongs to set of all real numbers. Suppose if we take a set of all positive prime numbers. Positive prime numbers means what can we take as the universal set? We can take even we can take this as the universal set. We can take another one also is equal to set of natural numbers. Right? Set of all prime numbers belongs to set of natural numbers. Okay. Therefore, whenever we take a set, there must be an universal set. Okay. Next is we are going to see some of the operations in this set. Okay. What is complement of a set? What is complement of a set? See, let us take a set as 1, 2. For this, we are taking universal set as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The complement is denoted by A dash or A power C. That is, this is pronounced as A complement. Okay. See, what is the complement means? If you want to find a complement of the set A, U minus A gives the A complement. Okay. What we have to do? We have to minus the elements of A from the elements of the universal set. See here, what is the A complement will be U minus A. We have to minus. We have to take these two terms 1 and 2 and the remaining terms are 3, 4, 5. This is the complement of the set A. This is A complement. Okay. Hope you understand this. Next, set difference. An important operation, set difference. Okay, let us take two sets A and B. A and B. The set difference is denoted by Set difference is denoted by like this. This should be pronounced as A difference B, A difference B. Already we took two sets, right? 1, 2, 3, and let us take B as 3, 4, 5. Okay, set difference A difference B is, we have to minus the elements of B from A. We have to take the elements of B from A. Okay, what are the elements in common? Only 3. Then we have to write, see what is the set which is in first? A. From A only we are going to minus B. Okay, the remaining terms in A alone we should write, that is 1, 2. This is the set difference. When it is written as B minus A, what happens? B minus A, we have to subtract A from B. Okay, what is the term in common? That is 3. And see here, what is it set that is at the first? B. From B only we are going to subtract A. Therefore, the remaining elements in B alone should come. That is 4, 5. Right? From here what we get is A minus B is not equal to B minus A. Just we have to get that in clear. Okay. And then this is called as the set difference. They have given some of the properties. U minus A. We saw this. U minus A means that is A dash A complement. Then what is A minus A? Set difference of the same set A minus A. What happens when we subtract this set 1, 2, 3 from this set 1, 2, 3, what we get? We get null set, that is empty set, which is equal to empty set. Okay, and the third property they have given, empty set minus A. Okay, empty set minus A, that is from empty set we are going to minus 1, 2, 3. There is no term in common, and the first set is empty set. The remaining terms in the empty set alone will come, that is only empty set. Okay, and then fourth one, what is the fourth one? A minus empty set. From A, see here, from 1 to 3 we are going to minus empty, that is empty set. There is no terms in common. Okay, then we get the terms in the first set. What are the terms in the first set? 1, 2, 3, that is A. A minus empty set is equal to A. And the third, last one is A minus union. What is A minus union? See here, for this let us take the union set as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, 5 and 6. What they want? A minus union, that is 1, 2, 3 minus 1, 2, 3. Union set is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A minus, see the terms get cancelled. The remaining terms here is nothing, that is empty set. Empty set. These are just properties I have just worked out with an example. Okay, just this let's just the common properties, just go through it. Okay, what we see is this is set difference. Next we are going to see what is symmetric difference. What is symmetric difference? Symmetric difference. Let us consider two sets A, comma B. The symmetric difference symbol is delta, that is A delta B. Okay, the formula for this is A delta B is equal to A symmetric B is equal to A union B minus, okay, A intersection B. This is the important formula. Okay, A symmetric difference B is equal to A union B minus A intersection B. Next, finite set and infinite set. When can we say set as a finite set and infinite set? Finite set and infinite set. If a set, let A be any set, if it contains k elements and this k belongs to the whole set means, then we can say this as finite. Okay, you can say it as finite. If it does not belongs to if it does not belongs to whole set, it is whole numbers, we can say A is infinite. If you take a set A and the number of elements in A is K, means K must belong, if K belongs to the whole numbers, means then it is finite. If K does not belongs to whole numbers, means then we can say it as infinite set. Okay, what is singleton set? In the name itself we have what is singleton set. Singleton set. What is singleton set? That is a set which contains only one element. Let us take A is equal to 4. Then this set is called as the singleton set. Okay, next they have given some of the properties of set operations. Okay, it is very important. Okay, just learn it. It will be very useful when you are going to solve the problems.